Hey everyone, we're back live on Fire Your MD Now Radio. It's Tuesday, October 14th, 2014. Where does the time go? Guys, I got to tell you though, this is the most beautiful Alberta fall weather I've ever seen. And Alberta is a beautiful province. I'm very proud to be from here. And I would like just at the beginning of things here, this has nothing to do with the show. This is one of my own personal beefs. Okay, when I hear people whining and going on and on about the oil sands up in Fort McMurray, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't. I mean, there was a time before that was developed, it was kind of like Jed Clampett, you know? Well, one day he was shooting at some food and up from the ground come a bubbling crude. There was oil coming out of the ground everywhere. It was seeping into the river. The Indians used it to pitch their canoes. So it was always there. But developing it and getting out of the ground is somehow a big sin. So I hope Neil Young never comes back to Alberta. Call-in line is 844-374-5433. We've got calls already online. There's a couple things I want to talk about this first segment. So Francis in North Carolina and Gail in Maryland, just stay right where you are. Now, this is posted on drugwatch.com, this story, and this is why I think that the big hype over Ebola is such a joke. Now, it's not a joke if you get it. I mean, if you're dying from Ebola, that sucks. But meanwhile, every single day, listen to this. Johnson & Johnson and Bayer face more lawsuits from Xarelto blood thinner deaths. More people whose family members died after taking the blood thinner Xarelto recently filed lawsuits against Johnson & Johnson and Bayer, claiming the drug caused irreversible bleeding and led to the deaths. The most recent claims filed in New York, Vermont, and Florida blame J&J and Bayer for failing to warn healthcare professionals and patients of the dangers of uncontrolled bleeding caused by Xarelto. The drug has no antidote to stop potentially fatal bleeding, a fact plaintiffs say the drug companies didn't publicize. Now, why are we scared of Ebola? Because it causes uncontrolled bleeding and you die. The drug companies spent millions marketing the blockbuster drug as convenient and effective. Patients flocked to Xarelto, in part because it does not require blood tests and has a one-size-fits-all approach to dosing. Unlike the decades-old drug warfarin, which requires dietary restrictions and routine blood work, patients even paid an increased price for the new medication, $3,000 a year versus warfarin's annual cost of $200. You do know that warfarin is rat poison, right? But I digress. Like millions of other Americans and others around the world, the plaintiffs in these lawsuits took the new anticoagulant to prevent stroke and other cardiovascular health problems, adding to the billions brought in by the drug. According to the lawsuit, instead of preventing these problems, patients ended up suffering bleeding, which led to a number of complications, pain, suffering, and ultimately death. Oh, but you're scared of Ebola. Well, I tell you what, I'm not. I mean, I don't want to catch it. I mean, you know, we should probably take steps to keep it out of Canada and out of the United States. But I tell you what, my body is a bad neighborhood for disease. Every cell in my body's got a shotgun and is harshly defending its property. Okay? You can build yourself up now or end up bleeding out every orifice. And you know what? Even if you don't get Ebola, there's something else waiting for you. There's something waiting. You cannot just coast through life and not take preventative steps. I'm talking to you, captain of the football team. You feel great now, but they're waiting down the line and they've got plans for you. Now, at the same time as that's going on, if you remember, we've been talking about physician-assisted suicide. Physician-assisted suicide. Now, back on Thursday, I read the Hippocratic Oath out loud to you. Now, this comes from Breitbart. Assisted suicide out of control in the Netherlands. The number of mentally ill people people who have been killed through euthanasia in the Netherlands has trebled in a single year, according to new figures. The Daily Mail reports that in 2012, 14 people with severe psychiatric problems were killed by lethal injection, a figure that rose to 42 in 2013. There had also been a 15% overall rise in assisted dying over the past year, with the number of cases increasing from 4,188 to 4,829. Sounds like a Holocaust to me. Deaths from euthanasia have risen by a total of 151% in a period of just 7 years, with most cases involving cancer sufferers. However, there were also 97 people who were killed by the doctors because they had dementia. So they didn't really have a lot to do with that decision, did they? The figures do not include terminal sedation, where the patient is sedated and then has food and fluids withdrawn. If they did, however, euthanasia would account for 1 in 8 of all deaths in the Netherlands. Dr. Peter Saunders of the Christian Medical Fellowship told the Daily Mail that euthanasia in the Netherlands is way out of control, saying that it proves that assisted dying is impossible to regulate. House of Lords calculated in 2005 that with a Dutch-type law in Britain, we would be seeing over 13,000 cases of euthanasia per year, he added. On the basis of how Dutch euthanasia deaths have risen, since this may prove to be a gross underestimate. What we are seeing in the Netherlands is incremental extension, the steady intentional escalation of numbers with a gradual widening of the categories of patients to be included. The lessons are clear. Once you relax the law on euthanasia or assisted suicide, steady extension will follow as night follows day. In Britain, a bill that would legalize assisted dying received its second reading in the House of Lords in July and will continue to the next legislative stage in November. Earlier this year, Dutch regulator Theo Boer told the British Parliament, "Don't go there," when asked about British proposals. So I'll tell you what, you're, let's say, 18 to 31 now. You're in that age category. You feel great all the time. You don't have to do anything for your health. Something goes wrong, you go to the doctor and get an antibiotic once in a while. I'll tell you what, there's going to come a time, if you do not top up your nutritional tank with the right things, you're going to break down in some area. And guess what? If they're just talking about assisted suicide now, by the time you come along, say you're 55, 60, you can bet that they're going to have upped the ante. Now, here's the deal. You receive a warning. You either move on it or you don't. You see the train coming down the track and you figure you got lots of time. You can sit there and eat your lunch. It gets faster and faster all the time. You have an opportunity now to avoid the whole scene. Dying in hospital as they withdraw fluid from you and food and you slowly dry up like a dead leaf. It's your choice. Noah got a warning, if you believe in the book of Genesis. Moved with fear, he built an ark to save his family. And it probably cost him a few bucks and took a lot of time and blood and sweat. Well, the time to move is now. It is not time when you get sick. Now, when or if you do, we're here. But I tell you what, why don't you just live a long, happy, healthy life in the first place and avoid the whole mess? Wouldn't that be great? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Check this out. RT is reporting Italian nurse arrested over killing 38 patients who irritated her. Now, I'm not against nurses. I just came across this article and I thought, what the heck? Italian police have arrested a nurse suspected of killing at least 38 of her patients because they or their relatives were irritating her. The officials also found a selfie with the nurse giving a thumbs up in front of a recently deceased patient. Wow, why am I laughing? Daniela Pugliali, I guess that's how you say it in Italy. 42, a hospital nurse was arrested in her native town of Lugo in the northern Italian region of Emilia-Romagna, a province of Ravenna. And if I butchered that name, I'm not Italian. The Italian daily newspaper is reporting. Police suspect her of the murder of an elderly patient, Rosa Calderoni, 78, who was taken to hospital with a routine illness. Tests show that Calderoni died of an injection of potassium chloride, a medical substance that can trigger cardiac arrest. Potassium leaves no traces in the patient's bloodstream after a few days, and it makes it more difficult to investigate the case, the prosecutors told Corriere, the Italian word, I can't even pronounce it. The investigation revealed that the nurse was not only culpable of Calderoni's death, but also the deaths of at least 38 other patients. All of them were reportedly murdered in 2014. At least 200 witnesses gave testimonies against, they've coined her the worst nurse. Worst one. Police officers also found a scandalous selfie of the nurse smiling, giving a thumbs up in front of a recently deceased patient. I can assure you that in all my professional years of seeing shocking photos, there were few such as these, says Mancini, the chief prosecutor, adding that the nurse was unperturbed during her arrest. When we went to arrest her, she was silent and impassive, he said. One of the nurse's colleagues spoke of her as a cold person, but eager to do her work. So before you end up in the death pit chair with Dirt Nurse Ratchet, clean up your body and get strong, and don't go there in the first place. We're going to come back after these messages with your calls. Mike Phillips filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden on Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back. We're live. Mike Phillips filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, and we're going to take some of your calls. We got Francis in North Carolina. Got some questions about the supplement. Francis, you are live.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I have several questions, and this is a difficult call for me to make because I was on air, maybe about a month and a half ago, whatever, and I was told, some different things to take, and I've spoken with, different ones who, have told me to take this and take that and take the other. And I just learned of this program August 1 of this year, and I was hopeful that it would be the answers to my desperate need and want to be well again. And I'm very disappointed because my condition has not gotten better, although I've been taking a number of the supplements. I have not seen any improvement. So
okay, well, let's start.
This call is kind of a last-ditch, desperate effort to maybe get some clarification and see if I can't restart this because, like I said, I'm not satisfied at all.
Okay, well, let's start out with what exactly are you wanting to overcome? What have you got going on, Francis?
Okay. I first need to know, I have this bottle here, and I've asked this question a couple of times to several different people and can't seem to get a straight answer. This Ultimate Colloidal Silver Plus, what exactly do you use that for, and how do you use it?
Colloidal silver can be used a number of different ways, and the biggest reason that people use colloidal silver is because it kills infection, okay? I use colloidal silver, and like I said, there's a number of different ways that you can use it. You can put it in your mouth and just hold it in there, or you can put it topically on an area of your body, say where there's an infection. And I've had tremendous success with colloidal silver, and I'll let you in on a dirty little secret. I don't actually buy Youngevity's colloidal silver. I just get it locally at my health store because I find that we end up in my family using more than the bottle that they give you. But I'll tell you this, I've found the plant-derived minerals from Youngevity to be just as effective as the colloidal silver, and it actually has silver in it, right? So you're getting it right off the bat. And the way that I use that is normally I'll put half an ounce in my mouth, and I'll keep it in there as long as humanly possible because you have a high absorption rate under your tongue. So I want that stuff to get into my bloodstream really fast. And what I have noticed in doing that is I don't get a whole lot of infections. If I do, I'll double up on it with extra colloidal silver. But I will say this, I did say we end up using more, but it's been less and less since I started relying more on the plant-derived minerals. So, Francis, why exactly are you using the colloidal silver? And like I asked you in the first place, what problem are you trying to overcome?
I am just being plagued with just a number of things, a number. Mm-hmm. But primarily, my equilibrium is off, my balance is off. And I have, although I've been to two different, neurologist doctors, neither of them officially diagnosed me with, but I've been told just through conversations such as this that it sounds like neuropathy. My feet, my toes, my legs, and my upper thighs are weak and painful and numb. Mm-hmm. And this has been going on for, it's been going on for a number of years, since 2011. And like I said, I've seen two neurologist-type doctors, but one of the goofy doctors, after putting me through the tests and whatnot, only thing he said to me was, don't cross your legs. Like, huh?
Francis, I hear the music. I got to put you on hold, but I want to come right back to this on the other side. I want to hear more, so stay there. Okay. We'll be right back. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Glidden. We'll be back with Francis after this. Welcome back to the show. Tuesday, October 14th. Tomorrow's show is going to be really interesting. In the first hour, we're going to have a man named Truman Tuck, and he is an Ontario lawyer that's headed up Friends of Freedom International, and they want to stop Health Canada from restricting our safe and natural remedies as if they were pharmaceutical drugs. And it's going to be a great interview. We're going to go over the definitions and legalese and word games that governments play to try to keep you sick and stupid. But until then, we're going to jump back over to Francis in North Carolina. Francis has been having some problems. She talked to a bunch of people about using the supplements. She hasn't seen a lot of results. And we're going to try and turn that around here today in this conversation. Excuse me, Francis, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, great. So before the break, you were talking about you've got this numbness in your extremities. You've had a lot of conversations. Nothing seemed to work. Now, you started out back in about a month ago?
August.
Yeah, so we're halfway into October now. So it's been about 2 months, right?
Right.
Right. Okay, so how old are you, Francis?
I'm 60. I weigh 164 pounds.
164. Okay, so this doesn't faze me, what you're telling me, Francis, and I'll tell you why. Because I've had a lot of people that I've dealt with over the last 3.5, 4 years that the same thing has come up. They come to the meetings or they hear about Dr. Wallach. They're very interested because they want to get their health back. And it takes a bit of time, number one. Sometimes it goes really fast. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. It depends on the individual. It depends on what they're taking. And it depends on the damage, right?
Okay.
Times needs to be a little bit of tweaking. And I'll give you an example. I had a man coming to my meetings. Same thing. He had numbness in his extremities, okay? Couldn't feel his feet, couldn't feel his fingers. He would get pins and needles all the time. And we got him on a few things, and he experienced a little bit of a difference, and then it quickly went away. And we just kept working with him, and we tried a couple of different things. And it was probably about 5 months where he significantly received, his body just kind of kicked it into gear, and he was very excited about that. Now, here's the deal. Healing is not an event. It's a process. Okay? You're 60, somewhat, 60?
60 years of age.
60 years of age, yeah. And here's the deal. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? With my wife, okay, the reason I came into this is because she had such bad joint pain that it was killing her. Okay, she almost couldn't walk, and she was in her early 30s. Now, through a series of trial and error, we were able to come up with the best lineup of things for her, and I'm very proud to say that within a full year, she had a 100% reduction in pain. It is gone, and she was able to cut back on her order of what she takes per month to sustain that level, okay, as a maintenance dose. So I predict the same thing will happen with you. It just needs to take a little bit of tweaking, and you've got to have the patience to see where this is going to go for you. Now, let me ask you this. Have you had any measurable or noticeable improvement in any area whatsoever, your sleep, your energy level, anywhere?
None. As
None.
a matter
Okay.
of fact, none. As a matter of fact, my energy level is so low. I live like on the main level of my home here, and I just go from what you would call the family room into the kitchen with the aid of a walker, and I literally have to sit down on this walker thing that I have because I don't have enough energy really to do anything. So I'm so concerned at this point. I'm naturally I'm frightened. And I talk to people, and I don't want to say that they are, cavalier in what they have to say, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I spent over $1,000 in August, with these various supplements, and I've had no measurable results. And like I said, I've only, my condition is only worse because the numbness went from my upper thighs, which is, and it's like it's now down over my knees, and, it's just,
you need help.
I don't know what to do.
You need help.
Know.
Okay, so you spent over $1,000 in August. What exactly were you using? You're 164 pounds, so I'm guessing they had you on 2 Healthy Start packs with some things added.
Well, like I said, I've so many different things have been suggested to me. I started out with the core pack, the 90, thing. And I haven't spent any more money, so I'm just using kind of sort of what I have left, so to speak. And I have a bottle of Sweeties that I'm taking, like maybe 2 of those a day. I have Ultimate EFA. I have Ultimate EFA Plus. I have Selenium. I have glucogel. I know I'm supposed to take, I think, 15 of those a day. I have, what did I say? I said the selenium. And I have ultimate enzymes, I think that says.
Yeah.
So that's what I have left to take. And I have that, what did I ask you about, that colloidal silver? I have it, but I'm not taking it because I really didn't know how to take it, to be honest with you. So that's what all I have.
Yeah. So I would like to give you a couple of suggestions here, all right? Now, I'm going to have to ask you a couple questions, but you did mention to me that you were taking 2 Sweeties a day?
Yes.
That's an extremely low dose. That's very low. I mean, I don't even have blood sugar issues, and I take about 5 a day just because they work so good for me. Anybody I know who has recovered from blood sugar issues with the sweeties has taken at least 3 per day, at least. And this goes into what Dr. Glidden says a lot of the times. There's only 2 reasons this doesn't work: if it's not absorbing properly or if you're not taking enough. Okay? Now, the sweeties, I would definitely up that to at least 3 per day. Now, the enzymes, are you taking those 10 minutes before you eat?
Well, I would say no. I kind of sort of just, take 2 of each of these and, 'cause I'm not always, really that hungry, although I know, the pills in the bottle, are not going to do anything. So I just wind up taking 2 of each of those, and I just, pop them down whether I've eaten or not.
Okay, take those about 10 minutes before you eat if you're going to take them. How many selenium are you using per day, Francis?
2.
2, yeah.
I would say 4, because I take them, either, in the morning and then maybe like midday.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take 9 of those per day.
9 selenium.
I want you to take 9 of the ultimate selenium per day. Yep. You're going to boost it right up. Now, as far as the numbness goes, here's the deal. I would go with Ultimate Daily Capsules and the plant-derived minerals. Okay? Now, you want the plant-derived minerals. They're only $20 a bottle. Okay? So you can do 2 bottles a month. They're only $20 each, and you only got to do 2 ounces a day. Now, I just had a lady in my downline that I was dealing with, and she told me that when she took the plant-derived minerals, she felt like she was on speed. It just made her go nuts. She would end up going to bed at 11:30 and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it kind of scared her. And she was somebody that didn't have much energy to begin with. She's about your age, and she had 0 energy, and she was real scared. Okay, so if I'm sounding cavalier, I'm not. Trust me, I have a real heart for people like you. But she just recently had the privilege of going and seeing Dr. Wallach. Okay, her name is Cindy. And she's probably listening right now. Hello, Cindy. And here's the deal. She just wrote to me that, and I'm just going to read this to you because I just got this morning. Forgot to tell you, I asked Dr. Wallach about the minerals. When I take 1 ounce, it's like taking 3 shots of espresso coffee. I go to bed at 11 and up by 4. He replied, find something to do. That's how it's supposed to work. And that was it. But she did get a lot of energy from it, and it can vastly improve circulatory issues. Okay, now the second thing I talked about.
Is that a liquid or is that a pill?
Yeah,
or what?
Yeah, it's a 32-ounce bottle. So if you get 2 of those, all right, you can do 2 ounces a day. And there's an alternative as well. There's what's called cherry mints, and they taste a lot better. It's just cherry juice added with all the same minerals. They're about $2 more or something like that. It's pretty insubstantial. But 2 ounces a day of the plant-derived minerals. Cherry mints.
Cherry?
Mints, yeah. So once you get 2 bottles of those, and then the other thing I suggested to you was the Ultimate Dailies. They are specifically formulated to support and promote the structure and function of your circulatory system. All right? Now, the other thing that is very important for circulation.
Pills?
Yeah, they're pills. Yeah, what you're going to get 1 bottle, and you're going to take 4 a day. All right? And if you want to go up to 6 with that, you go right ahead, because if you want to get some really quick results, that's how I would go about it.
Okay.
Now, so that's what I would do. Ultimate Dailies, there's 120 of them in there. And 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals. The sweeties, you've got to do about 3 or 4 of those a day. And the selenium, I want you to up that to 9. And I want you to call back to the show after a week or 2, if it takes you a while to get those minerals or the Ultimate Dailies, and let us know what's going on, because we want to make this work for you. I've seen it work for many, many people, Francis, and I don't see why you should have to be any different. And if we can get you back on your feet, then I've done my job.
Okay, now that's for the neuropathy thing. What about the equilibrium?
Yeah, that should come with it too. Now, here's the deal. I was going to go into this too. You need a lot of calcium. Okay, you need a lot of calcium. So have you still got those 2 Healthy Start packs, or have you got any of the OsteoFX
No, I sent some of it back because I wasn't using it, and I didn't like that calcium powder. And I heard somebody say somewhere along the line that I think that also comes in a pill, kind of.
You know what? It comes in a liquid, and that's what I want you to go with. And we're going to get into that after this commercial break. I'm going to put you on hold. Debbie in Missouri, Gail in Maryland, Sydney in California, Michael in Florida. Hang on. I want to talk to every single one of you. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Glidden. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. We're live. Mike Phillip here once again filling in for the good Dr. Peter Glidden, Tuesday, October 14th. And we've been spending a bit of time with Frances in North Carolina, so forgive me, other callers, but this lady needs help, and I'm going to try and dial in whatever I can to help her out. Now, before the break, Frances, we were talking about the OsteoFX. You sent it back because you didn't like the powder, and I agree with you 100%. Because I don't like that stuff either. It tends to clump up, and it just doesn't taste that good. Other people seem to love it. But the fact of the matter remains that you need a whole lot of calcium to support and promote the healthy structure and function of your heart, your kidneys, your thyroid, your circulatory system. It's big, okay? So you're going to have to get that in you. Now, there is a product called Beyond OsteoFX, and it is a liquid. And just like the plant-derived minerals, it comes in a 32-ounce bottle. And I would like to see you get 2 bottles and take 2 ounces per day of the Beyond OsteoFX. And if you have to take that slowly over the day to avoid getting diarrhea, just see how it makes you feel. But a lot of people really like taking it before they go to bed because you end up having a really, really deep, good sleep. Okay? So, we've been talking about the sweeties. You need more than 2 of those a day. The enzymes, 10 minutes before you eat, if you eat. The selenium, 9 per day. All right, now we're going to go with the bottle of Beyond OsteoFX in a liquid form. Now get back in touch with the people around you that are talking to you about this.
Okay, you said 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily.
Yeah, Ultimate Daily pills, yeah.
4 per day. And then you said 32-ounce bottle of plant-derived minerals, 2 ounces per day, or the Cherry Men's 2 bottles.
Yep. You've been paying attention. And 2 bottles of Beyond OsteoFX.
Okay.
And you're also going to want the Beyond Tangy Tangerine with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now this is just for the neuropathy. What about the equilibrium?
That's going to come with it. Okay, that's arms on the same octopus. All right? Your equilibrium problems are a mineral deficiency, in our view. Okay, so once you get those minerals in you and your body starts to utilize them, you just let it do the driving. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, dietarily, I actually had another person contact me about this, and I said that I would bring it up in the show. Try to avoid eating foods that contain what's known as a phytate. Okay, a phytate will bind with a vitamin or mineral and stop it from absorbing properly. And the foods that contain phytates are rice, nuts, spinach, kale, stuff like that, because you want to maximize the absorption. When these nutrients are in your stomach or in your small intestine, they are not inside your body. Okay, and that sounds counterintuitive, but the fact is they enter the body through the small intestine or underneath your tongue. That's where it gets absorbed in. All right? You want all of that stuff to get into your bloodstream so that it can be carried throughout your body.
Now, what was that again? No rice?
Well, you can eat rice, just not at the same time as you're taking your supplements because it'll grab onto them because it contains a phytate. It's not going to 100% deplete you of your nutrients, okay? But if you want to maximize it, then stay away from rice, nuts, and spinach.
Okay.
It's a lot to remember, hey, Francis? Listen, Francis, we're at the end of this segment, okay? We're going to go into the news, and I've got a lot of other calls waiting. Okay. So I'm going to let you go, but I want you to keep in touch with the show. Get in touch with your distributor and get that stuff ordered. Let them know what I told you, and keep in touch with the show. Don't quit. You're close. Francis, we're going to let you go. Thanks for calling. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back with the rest of your calls after the news.